Hello and welcome to the Crone Zone. I'm Lynn. So, at the moment, we're feeling the energy as we move towards the Jupiter Uranus conjunction. We're starting to feel its energy now. I'm recording this on the 15th. The actual conjunction is exact on the 20th. But certainly, we're building to those energies now. And everywhere, there are interpretations of what this really significant conjunction might mean for us individually as a collective. Um, the idea that this is a time of vast expansion, a time of expanding consciousness, a time of revolution, a time of great seismic changes, and those seismic changes happening in all spheres. So, in the Earth, the geography, and the planet, in the political, the social, the financial spheres. So, this idea of a starting pistol, if you like, and amongst a great plethora of things that have been happening lately to launch us into a new sequence. So, a very, very significant time for us. And of course, we also have the full moon in Scorpio coming up before the end of the month of April, too. So, my take then, and remember that each person sees through their own tiny little lens. It's all we've got, really, isn't it? And this is mine, so I offer it for what it's worth. Jupiter and Uranus are both powerful sky gods. Jupiter's name is Zeus. He was the god of thunderbolts, storms in the heavens. And Uranus is very associated with light and electricity and storm again. So we're going to have a meeting of these two very, very powerful sky gods. And it looks to be quite an electrical charge and storm that a lot of energy is going to be released there. And much of it looks, certainly in the long term, to be positive. But I suppose my angle is, if we are encountering this vast electrical charged event in the heavens, how do we here bring this energy down to earth? How do we use its best impulses? How do we avoid wasting vast opportunities that might be offered to us? How can we make it real? How can we catch it this time, not let it go? Because our history is scored with times of missed opportunity, when we have missed chances to evolve and to develop. And I think it's really crucial we don't do that this time. But also, this can be a disturbing, disruptive energy. And we need a way to harness it and bring it down to earth. And that really is the subject of this video. So please watch on. So let's avoid feeling like chicken licking that the sky is falling in here, and look to those forces which really do have our back and which can really help us. We could see ourselves as going through a period of initiation here, a period of transition, a period to a different way of being, and certainly a time where our perception, where those doors of perception are opening and changing. The two tarot cards that would represent Jupiter and Uranus are the Wheel of Fortune, which we've seen a lot of lately in readings, and Uranus. And the message with Uranus is one of trust. It's one of faith. It's leap of faith. The things that Uranus speaks to, the kind of cosmic ordering and structures that Uranus represents, are actually beyond our comprehension and probably always going to be. And in glimpsing a little more of them, what we can do and what this card urges us to do is to have faith that what is unfolding is something which should be unfolding, and something which is unfolding for the good, ultimately. There are other aspects here in the mix which also really help. Ceres has been squaring the nodal axis. Ceres is the Earth Mother. At the moment, she is in the sign of Capricorn, an Earth sign. And Ceres, as well as being about nurturing, about feeding, about comfort and provision being made for people, she's also a space to be held in. She holds us through periods of transition in our lives. So it might be adolescence to maturity, to menopause, to cronehood. She holds a space there for us. And so this Earth Mother is very much in the mix here. She is holding this space. And I would say, because she is in Capricorn, she's very much in her crone aspect, the old lady aspect. And I would like to return to that in a moment or two. We also have, and I'd also like to mention Sedna. Sedna was an Inuit goddess. She was married to a sky god and escaped from him. It was a rather unhappy episode. He then created a vast storm. She was in a canoe with her father, and for his own safety, he threw her overboard. It's this horrible episode where she clung to the side of the canoe and he chopped off her fingers and sacrificed her. She went down to the depths of the ocean and there created all of marine life. So here we have this sacrificed, highly creative, sacrificed aspect of the divine feminine, buried deep into the ocean. And Sedna at this moment is on the very last degree of Taurus, what we call the anteric degree. So she too is in Taurus. And she is demanding of us that we learn the lessons of the past and that we reintegrate. The sun goes into Taurus just a day before the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So the sun is also there, shining its light. And the whole of Taurus is, of course, a very profound earth sign. Now, we can see various sides to Taurus. We can see it on the one hand as representing things like the financial markets, as being resistant to change, as being rather conventional. But there's a much deeper side to Taurus, which is a deep, abiding earth connection, a love of the earth, and an ability to see what is sacred in the earth. And I think that's a very important aspect at this time and for this conjunction, especially when we have a planet in crisis, as we do. It's been over the past 20 years that we have discovered a lot of dwarf objects which have come in, are representing often the more indigenous cultures. Those old earth wisdoms are held by indigenous people, both past and current, that are ways of showing a better interaction with the environment, a deeper connection to the earth, something that modern man can be severed from and disconnected from. So the energies of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction are very much concerned with the future, very much forward-looking about what is coming up, this new future awaiting us. But the message that I'm getting is that whilst there are things which must crumble away and which must be disregarded, there are also very ancient, very earth-based qualities which are absolutely essential to hang on to and which will help us hugely to earth the lightning, to harness the lightning and to use it, and for the finally to be a unity between the divine masculine. As I was saying, a final unity between the divine masculine, the sky god energies, and the old earth energies. We also have squaring the conjunction Centaur Cherryclo. This is another nurturing aspect that is coming in to help us. Cherryclo was the wife of Chiron, and she had an ability to hold a space for healing. Now, this is a theme that we've seen as well with Ceres. This idea of these ancient goddesses, these old indigenous forces, holding a space for us where we can heal and where we can make points of transition, where we can make a transition to the new that is coming in, but do so through the help of the grandmas, of the crones, of the old indigenous energies which are deep within us. These are the forces that we need to be calling on now. So I've entitled this video, "The Doors of Perception Are Opening," and I believe they are. It was Aldous Huxley who said, when the doors of perception are cleansed, then we will see things as they really are, which is infinite. At the moment, we've reduced that and we're seeing through a tiny little chink. So, yes, perceptions changing. But what is perception? Perception isn't anything to do with the truth. Perception is how we see things. It's the little bit of the truth that we see or don't see, the stories that we tell, the way we frame things. Those perceptions, some of which have been very false, are going to be changing. So I think we're in a period where there will be real changes to beliefs, to ways of seeing things. But to the deep, deep inner knowing of the heart, to the knowing, I don't think there will be changes. That doesn't change. That's bedrock. That stays the same. And I think we can take huge comfort in that. And it can be that which enables us to make the leaps of faith. I drew 3 really positive cards for the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. This card has come up a fair bit recently, not surprisingly, and it's a card of transition. It's a card of moving on. It's a card of leaving behind what's familiar, the comfort zone. And I think we will indeed be doing that within the parameters I've just mentioned. I also drew the star, the Aquarian card, the age that we are in and which is evolving and developing our way forward. And rather beautifully as well, I drew the sun, this joyful of that joyful, expanded consciousness. So overall, for me, this eclipse is very much, excuse the dreadful joke, but it's a game of crones. It's a game of reconnecting to the very deep past and those old matrilineal lines within us which link us with that. Now, I'm lucky enough to spend almost half my time on the coast. And where I go, there's a very pebbly beach. And there are stones there which are called hagstones. This is one. See, you can see right through it. Hagstones. And I love the connection because crones, hag is another word for crone. So in a way, they are crone stones. The inside of this, it has tiny, tiny little crystals. You can't really see it. But these things form over millennia. I mean, this began as a cliff somewhere, or before that, before it became stone, it was organic matter. These are ancient, ancient things. And coming from Sedna's Ocean, that deep, deep connection, that deep portals through time. And it is believed that if you look through the eye, look through the hole there, that you'll see other dimensions. But I feel that these stones, which I love so much, are portals certainly to deep time, to deep, deep time, and to the earth energies that we need to be harnessing now. And I don't know whether we take Atlantis and Lemuria as mythologies or as realities. But maybe they are visions. Maybe we can vision from the past, the deep past, as well as from the future. And perhaps looking through these hagstones, we see a vision of regaining some wonderful aspect of our life here on earth, which we've lost many times perhaps, and now have a hope to regain.